Hello and welcome to Planted Nutrition. My name is Luke. I'm a nutritionist, and today we're talking all about food cravings. Why do we get them? What are they? And most importantly, what can I do to help deal with them? Like, seriously, this is really difficult here. So, food cravings, we all get them more or less. I personally don't really get them, to be honest, but I work with a lot of clients who do. And there's a lot of really good strategies that can help us with managing food cravings, especially if our goals are something like losing weight, maintaining a healthy weight, and we're always craving foods that maybe we know we shouldn't really be eating, or at least we know they're not going to help us towards our goals. And the good news is there's some really good strategies that we can use to help us with these cravings. And let's get into them. So first of all, it's really important to understand what your triggers are. This can be different for everyone, but it might be if we've had a stressful day at work, if we've had a fight with our partner, if we're feeling anxious or overwhelmed. Mood and emotional states are definitely a trigger for food cravings. And there's some research on this as well. Another one can be even if we're just feeling bored, we want something to do. Getting in touch with maybe what is triggering us around that is the first step to identifying this pattern, so we can start to get into the next steps of helping us to make better choices. And secondly, it can be helpful to understand that food cravings in the brain activate areas associated with reward, motivation, and memory, like the hippocampus, the insula. There is some debate whether food addiction is actually a true addiction, but it's just to understand that there are things going on in our brain as well. And number three, it is also good to be aware of our relationship with food. If we're trying to diet and really restrict ourselves, there's actually research that against what we might think, trying to restrict ourselves can actually make these cravings more persistent and intense. There's the saying, like, what we resist persists. It can be helpful for a while potentially, but it's a really difficult long-term strategy just trying to use our force of will, because at some point it's going to break and then we might not feel good. We might feel like we've let ourselves down. It's important to understand this is normal. There's nothing wrong with you. So now let's get into, okay, great, I understand, but what can I do about it? So we're going to talk a bit about mindful eating. Mindfulness is incredibly powerful in many aspects of our life, and it's the exact same when it comes to eating. Mindfulness is essentially just becoming aware of what is going on in our mind and our body. And as we become aware, we develop insight, and then we realize we are in control and we can make a choice. It's kind of like taking back our control, turning ourselves off autopilot and putting ourselves in the driver's seat. So some of the ways that mindful eating can help. Firstly, it can help us to appreciate our food more. There's research showing that participants who ate their meals more mindfully had greater appreciation for the flavors, the taste, the smell of their food, and they felt more satisfied and ate less food because of this. So this can be really helpful. If we're just stuck in front of Netflix, shoveling our face full of food and not even realizing how much we've eaten, it can be really easy to overeat certain foods. But if we just slow down, it's not about going crazy, maybe just taking a deep breath before our meal, slowing down just for a moment, taking time to appreciate the smells, the textures, the flavors of our food, chewing mindfully, noticing how we're feeling in our body. It can help us to feel more full and eat less, appreciate our food more, and reduce cravings later on because we actually feel satisfied. 2, it also helps us, as I talked about, as we become more aware of our internal states, we can realize when we've been triggered by something. Oh God, I feel like eating some cookies right now. Wow, yeah, my boss yelled at me today. Or I got stuck in traffic and people were beeping at me, it was horrible. We can become aware of this and we can choose something else. Instead of mindlessly going and eating those cookies, we can take a moment, take a deep breath, slow down, realizing we have a choice, And maybe we can do something else to nourish ourselves. Maybe we need a moment to relax, to unwind. It's possible to find alternatives that are going to nourish us in a good way. And something that I love is you can literally make healthier options of your favorite treats. You can make cookies that are healthy with whole grain oats and blueberries and dark chocolate. In fact, if you need help with the recipes, I offer meal plans, and just so happens that that is one of the recipes in my meal plans. And if you'd like it, you can book a session with me online, the link in the description. I'd love to help you if that's something you need support with. Another strategy that can be really helpful is doing something called a food and mood journal. So I give this to all of my clients to do, and it's basically just recording what you ate and how you felt. But as you do that for a week and you look back, it can be really helpful for identifying patterns that we might not have seen otherwise. This is a really great tool, and it makes it a lot easier, like I said, to see those patterns. And it's incredible for bringing more awareness to our food and how we feel. And as another bonus, you can get that for free at the link in the description. I'm giving it out to help you, so please use that resource if that would help you. So to put it all together, food cravings are influenced by a lot of different factors, but it's important that we get in tune with what those factors are for us. What are those triggers that cause us to go and eat? It can be different for everyone, so it's really just about getting curious, being a bit more mindful, using the food and mood journal if that's helpful for you. And then once we start to become aware of these, we can also bring some more mindfulness to our meal times, so we appreciate our food more. We're less likely to crave food later if we're already feeling satisfied. And in moments when we are triggered, if we can bring some mindfulness, even just one deep breath, slowing down just for a moment, then we might be able to make a different choice. If we're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, okay, maybe I'm just gonna go take a few deep breaths and calm myself down, go do some yoga, go for a run, do some sport, do something else to make you feel good, instead of the traditional way that we used to do, which might have been eating food that we didn't feel good about afterwards. It's not necessarily going to be easy, and we're not going to get it right every time, so it's not about beating ourselves up about it. It's understanding it's normal, it's going to take time, but every time we do that, we're strengthening that mindfulness muscle in our brain. We're going to make it easier for us in the future, and we never know where we can be in 6 months or a year later. It's really worth taking the time, doing the work. Your future self is very grateful. I've been Luke from Planted Nutrition. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a like, as it helps me out a whole lot in the YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate all of your support. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, stay healthy, my friends.